Hey guys, my name is Seniac and welcome back to another City Skyline experiment video where today we're going to ask the question, can we get more tourists in the city than residents living in the city? We're going to try and find out. I've kind of built a small little town just to kind of give us a little bit of an advantage. Well, not much advantage, but a little bit of a fighting chance. It's not a big town. It's got around about 5,000 residents. It's got everything it needs. It's self-sufficient. It's doing pretty well. And we're going to try and turn this little town, well, I say this town, more like the outskirts, into a big tourist hotspot. And I want to see if it's possible to get more tourists visiting the city than there is actual people living in the city. Is it possible? I don't know. I'm sure I think there's cities around the world that have, or places or destinations around the world that have more tourists than people living there. If you're in one of those places, let me know in the comment section down below. But we're going to see if it's even possible. So there's a lot of things I need to do. I have infinite money for a good reason. One, I need to buy a ton of tourist stuff, and I need to make sure that we don't go bankrupt. So obviously that's really, really important. And I got a nice little piece of land set up all ready to go, and we need to create some really, really good transport routes. So this is our little city right now. It's just under the 5,000 mark, which I expect it to kind of boom when we start adding in all the additional stuff, because it's going to really then start to upgrade the city. But this is what it is. Nice little area. Bit of residential, commercial, stuff like that. We have some offices over here, some industrial areas. There's not enough people to satisfy the jobs at the current moment. If I go to the jobs here, there's 4,700 jobs available. Only 2,200 people can work there, which is interesting. If I go to the info section down here, currently we have 28 tourists visiting a week. From the basic stuff that we do have in right now, we do have a little city parking, generates a little bit more money and just kind of, you know, make them a little bit happy, cause some upgrades. But that is where we currently are right now. That is where we currently are. We've got this little kind of section up here that I want to build pretty much like a tourist trap, the whole tourist industry, which is going to be really, really exciting to get up and running. So I can't wait for this. I can't wait for this. So, like I said, infinite money so I can get it all in. We're less than 5,000 population. Let's see what changes and what we can do. So the first thing I'm going to do then is actually, before I place any tourist stuff down, is get some public transport set up to get everybody in the area a lot quicker. So there's a number of things that I need to do. I want to add in an airport. Unfortunately, this map doesn't allow me to do any kind of water transportation, like you know, cruise ships or boats, anything like that, unfortunately, because of how it's all set up. If I go to it, there is just no way for me, there's no connection, so it's kind of weird, but that's okay. We're going to look at the airport first, and we're going to go with the international airport. Where is it? Is that the one that contains a runway? No, this is the one that contains a runway. It's quite big, it's quite huge, but it also comes with its very own subway system. So if I just kind of place it in there, I'm happy with that. Comes with its own road, right? Yeah. So I'm just going to place it in there for now. I'm also going to add in for the trains. Where is it? No, that's not the trains. Here's the trains. One of these, the multi-platform station. We'll go for the end station because these also as well come with their very own subway connection. Now if I place it in the middle there, so I can create an underground subway network that connects up that to the little town and city too. It's going to be pretty sweet. So we've got those in for now. I'll work on it just a second. We'll kind of pause it for a second and we'll do some basic road works. So let's get the rest of the road network set up. Stuff like just expanding this a little bit further down. And this one as well. We might not use them, they might not really go anywhere, but it's just kind of set up what we currently already have. I also need to make sure I create really good like walking connections as well for all the tourists to get to the areas they want to get to a lot more easier. Man, we're going to have to really overwork these areas. So if I just kind of create this basic grid to work with, and then all the smaller roads will come in time as I place the landmarks around them. But let's just first get the basic stuff in to make sure these are up and running. So a basic road, just connect in there. I'm not too fussed about these, to be honest. Now this one will kind of create the connection going straight across. There we go. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to do for that. Everything else will be connected by underground metro stations. So I need to first then get this train station over here all hooked up. So if I bring these out so far, all of them, the more we have, obviously the more trains that can... But is dock the correct term? I don't know what the correct term is for a train approaching. I feel like docking is the correct term. I don't know why. I could be so wrong. But I just want to create little connections like this. So merge them all in. There we go. Then we pick one to go up there. Merge that one in. Can I merge this one in too? Yeah. So it all comes off one line now. So I can have this as ultimately go straight and connect. But obviously we also want to have that one that goes the opposite way. But obviously we need to make the connection glorious. There we go. So it's not amazing, but it does the job. It does the job. Okay. So the underground network now for the metro, we've got a connection there. Now I want it to be quite often. So I think, do you know what? I think we'll have to do a few more roads to kind of get like a better setup for it. So I'll go for these little 4-lane roads, and these are what we'll use to kind of cut through the middle. Now if I just kind of bridge over slightly here and bring it back down, that creates a nice little cut through there. And bring that in. Again, I'm not too sure what I'm going to do with them, but they're there for when we want them in. Okay, so just adding that in, it's actually more than enough than I need. So there are metro stations now. We've got one here. So we'll do one there. One there. And again, every so often, the more stops, the better, basically. Because the more stops means, you know, they can get off anywhere they want. Travel anywhere they want. And pretty much everything is in walking distance upon arriving or getting off somewhere. So place this one into. I'll place this one. There we go, like that. So that all runs down the side there. So everything is going to be in walking distance, which is going to be pretty cool. And then I want to get one set up for our little town, our little area anyway. So again, I want everything in walking distance. This is going to be amazing for us. So there, 3 there. And we get quite a few in here as well. So we got our first one there. We'll get one in just here as well. Because we'll create loops around the place. And then we'll create one like bigger loops. So I'm going, if anything, over the top for our transport network. Way over the top is what I'm going with right now. So what I do is I create small loops to make sure it's all connected. So you can see how this is now going. So you create these little smaller loops. Everything's all walking distance to the center anyway, so it's all good. And then off this, we create a connection that goes, or simply connects straight down. And then we'll create our loop here too. So it actually come with there, because there is a tunnel there, I just realized. And I built it, so how have I just realized? Right, let's get this loop in. So whether they arrive by train or by plane, they can hop straight on the metro and go anywhere they pretty much like. So I'll add this one like this, as it can be the stop in between them. And of course, we'll just do a nice connection coming off it to hook up to there. So back and forth, loop, loop, and we'll have one that goes back and forth between all of them. It's going to be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. So let's get that set up, and then we're pretty much good to go. So like I said, we have one that goes back and forth. There we go. We have one that does the loop here. Now, I don't need to do an opposite loop because, you know, traffic. There's not a lot of traffic that's going to be embarking on this. And worst case scenario, if it does increase, I'll up how many trains are on the route. Worst case scenario, I change the capacity of them. Oh, I just realized something as well. I've instantly missed this one out. There we go. So we've got the 3 loops set up. Then what we do is we have one train that connects them up here like that. And we'll use this station here to connect up and back down. So they're all intertwined and connected in some way, shape or form, which is beautiful. Beautiful. So let's just get the water connected over here. They all need power as well, which we'll get up eventually. But for now, if I just put it into play mode, we have a pretty decent transport system. We'll give these power now, just for the sake of, you know, it's probably not the best idea to put a wind turbine next to the airport. But just give them some form of power, these two. So at least people can slowly start to arrive anyway. And I'll put it into our beautiful ×9 speed. And I have things rocking and rolling. So you can see people using the subways in the city like normal, which is really cool. So it benefits those guys. It's probably going to cause some nice little upgrades to our little town as well. So this is pretty good. So now we can focus on building all the landmarks in. So like I said, I've got everything unlocked. And we'll start with the landmarks here. I've got everything unlocked. The only thing that we don't have unlocked is obviously monuments. But we'll get those done over time. So we can get all the basic stuff in. Everything else then is just based on, you know, doing certain stuff, completing certain goals and whatnot. But that doesn't matter. We can probably, if we really need to get them, we can, you know, work on it. But the most important monument that we want is, of course, the space elevator, because that brings the big influx in tourists into the city. So that's a big thing that we need to get in, and we'll work towards getting it. So let's start then with the first tier. And it's pretty much going to be pre-placed now. It's not to look beautiful or anything like that. It's just going to be to try and fit as much stuff into these areas as possible. And I think what we'll do is we'll kind of start from the outskirts here and then work our way into it. This will be the best option for us. So let's probably get this as far over as possible. And then pretty much do one of each. There we go. What have we got on this side here? We'll throw you down. We've also got this city arch as well. I'm actually not too sure where to place the city arch in. So what if I just do kind of like, I don't know whether to actually put it in the city, like over here, to create this something special, which looks nice. I always like the city arch. So that's pretty much the tier 1 done. So we move on to tier 2. And again, we got all this little cool stuff. All these little buildings we can now start placing. So the buildings I'll start to place in more in the center. Is this the Mall of Moderation? Yes. Right, get it just down there. We have the Climate Research Station. We have the Clock Tower. There we go. And that's pretty much all of tier 2 done. Now we're on to tier 3, where the buildings start to get just a little bit bigger, I would say. I'm sure he's going to allow me to place it down for a second there, wasn't it? We'll place it next to that anyway. So the more, the merrier for us. So I'm trying to kind of add something on each metro station. So it's worth jumping off each one, if that makes sense. So that's all the tier 3 done. Now we're on to tier 4. Which they are going to now start getting a little bit bigger. These are a little bit smaller, but they are going to get a lot bigger. Now this one's for the water, isn't it? So I'll place it over here, but we need to figure out a way to get to it. I'll place it on this side. There we go. Is this this is also a sea fortress we need to place down. So I'll connect those up eventually. Now tier 5. So let's get some on this side. We'll start over here. So these are actually quite big, aren't they? These ones. These are very big. Let's get some over on this side. There we go. Nice little pyramid. And then we got the observation tower as well. Let's just squeeze that in there. And we got a few up here we get to work with as well. So let's go to the final tier, where these get a little bit crazier now, these buildings. It's like they were all normal, and then you get to these tiers, and then like the developers are like, do you know what? Let's just go crazy. And they did. They went very crazy. We also get all the sports stadiums too. Now, this is huge. Where's the best place to get this in? Shall I just squeeze it there? Yeah. And this is another C one, isn't it? Yeah. So again, place it in just there. So that is pretty much all the monuments in. Let me just go through each one again, in case I've unlocked other ones. Other stuff like this is you got to get like so much like walking distance and whatnot, and complete certain goals. Has it unlocked the space elevator? Yes, it has, which is pretty good. But we'll come on to that just a little bit later. We've got all the landmarks. I'll squeeze in the landmarks that I can in that I've currently unlocked or got available to me. So we can place this. This is the. I've always found this one weird. Placing the Statue of Liberty. You can place it on land. It is a Statue of Liberty, right? Yeah. I've always found that one weird. I don't know why. Just because you know. I mean, then again, it is on land in real life. But I always kind of in my mind think of it being at sea. Does anybody else always feel like that? I kind of forget it. I've done this realize myself now. Then that it is an actual landmark. Yeah, it's a landmark, not a sea mark. Let's get a few stuff around here. Could you imagine the bill of running all of this stuff? That was huge. What was that? That wasn't that, was it? What have I just placed down? Ew, it is this, yeah. Chirp X launch site. That's hilarious. Right, get you all down. Is this another C one? Yes. Right, that's all those done. So then we've got the tourism leisure stuff. There's not a lot of this. We've got the fantastic fountain. We've got the luxury hotel. And then sports stadiums. Just the one at the minute. The football stadium. Squeezing just there. So has that unlocked anything else then? For me to place down, just out of interest? No. Okay, so everything is placed down now. The little things I can do at this point, this kind of stuff. So it makes no difference, but it just kind of slightly bulks up the tourism. The other little park unto and whatnot. So let's get a load around that area. And yeah, so it's all within the water apart from this little section there. It's all going to need power, but what I'll do, I'll place down like commercial shopping areas that are kind of based for tourists only. And that should slowly start to bring the tourism in too. So it's not much. We'll place another like city park or theme park through the middle to bring the tourists in. Use those dedicated parks and stuff as ways that they can quickly get to either side with the paths that cross over. Should be pretty fun. So I'll get that set up now, and then all that's left to do is then work with the monuments. So it's going to be... So I've got 3 of the parks, and I've got a city park here, and a theme park, and a zoo. Just very, very basic. I've only really kind of used them for little crossover routes, little short distances. It looks chaotic and mental, but it will do just the job, boys. It will do just the job. It's just for the sake of adding these in, because I can place in normal paths, but adding the benefit of placing in like a park, for example, it adds attractiveness and, you know, other tourist benefits from it. Last thing I want to do now is take a look at the tourism and leisure stuff right now, which this is all kind of for water related, but there's a few little things, little bits and bobs I can throw in. I gotta attach them to the roadside anyway. So we'll just do 1 or 2 thrown in, wherever I can squeeze it in. Nice little skate park as well. It's pretty much really only that. We have a few props, park maintenance stuff. I'll place in a park maintenance building there. Make the place beautiful. And then we just got stuff like this as well, adding more tourist stuff. So let's go for these, because these have high entertainment. 150 entertainment. So if I just drop like a bunch of these in general spots, it will really bring up the entertainment in the area. So I just kind of use these to fill in some of the gaps. So I'm just trying to reap the benefits so much out of some of this stuff. It's hilarious. So throw this down with all the tourism stuff, right? It's going to be a really high entertainment area. And then the last thing I'm going to do, is create a big zone. We've got 2 wide zones there, but just create like a really big zone. I can add the commercial specializations after that. Just create like a really big zone around here. And we'll fill it in now with like all different densities of commercial. Like this there. You know what, we'll go the full distance. We'll just cover it just in case we go a bit over the top. It's all in. But that big section there, we're going to go for the tourism. Is it leisure? Activities, vibrant, relaxation there. We have the... No, this is the tourist one I want. Boom. It's now a tourism destination. And then we'll just plant down in small little spots to begin with. A little bit of commercial here and there. Which should really then start to boost the areas. For shopping and whatnot. So we do like a bunch of low density in spots. And then we'll do some like high density as well. So let's do some high density on other areas now. So let's go over this side. And the only thing it's missing then at that point will be power. So as much as in as possible, we'll do the job. Let's go with that. I'm going to put some high density there. Yeah, I feel like it's fairly good. I don't want to place in any more. Because you got to remember, we need people to work there. We need people to work there, so there's no point going too over the top and whatnot. So we just need some power getting hooked up to it now. And then I think we're pretty much good to go. So in terms of the power situation, I just want to make sure there's nothing on its own standing out. It's all pretty much connected. So what we'll do that, and then we'll take a big line of electricity pylons and connect, and that is all done. So in play mode then, just give it a minute or two just to kind of settle itself, and then we should be rocking and rolling. So at this point we have 27 weekly tourists. So let's see how much it changes over time. So we'll have to place some services in. So we'll place down like a couple of fire stations on this side. We'll do 2 on this side as well. We'll do a couple of police headquarters. We'll go for the big one. We'll do one big, large one there. And one large one on this side. Just get the services in. And we'll drop a hospital down each side just for the sake of having some healthcare in this area. Just so it's all covered. And again, a crematorium. There we go. There we go. Right. So, it's all in. You can now see people driving to and from the areas. It's quite glorious. It's going to be a mixture of people working there and just wanting to visit these little hotspots in general. So, as the weekly tourists change yet, it's gone up to 28. We've gained an extra tourist. We've gained an extra tourist, but what's going to be interesting as well is watching the sheer amount of people coming out of these subway stations. So, 22 served then. And I'm interested to see how it goes along. Will we see any more come out? Here comes the next. Yep. There you go. A bunch of people coming out as well. So we're just going to give it a while to kind of like tick along. I assume we're going to need educated people. Not enough workers. Yeah. But now with the place slightly booming. This is the only downside as well. To get more tourists than residents, we need to make sure that we don't add too many residents. But we need residents to work in the buildings. It's a vicious circle that we'll never ever kind of compete against. But we're now up to 65 weekly tourists. So bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. We're trying so hard right now. So just have a quick look. Ivy Park. We'll just put all this up now. Not making any profit just yet. The theme park, not making any profit. And the zoo, not making any profit. We don't want them to make profit. It's not the, well, we don't really care too much because we've got infinite money anyway. But it's all there anyway. So apparently that serves 691 passengers, which is interesting. The only thing that we haven't added in at this point, and I remember this, is, again, the space elevator. But I just want to see what it does, how it ticks along before we do add it in. Because that's when everything changes at that point. Because that brings a whole heap of tourists to the city at this point. So we just got to wait for a fair few weeks to kind of tick along. Is there any trains in the stations yet? No trains come yet? I don't think we've had a single train arrive yet, have we? Okay, we've had 215 passengers served, so some trains have come. Here comes another one. And it comes to the station. Nice. Suppose you don't just get like multiple. Do you know what we need to do? We need to connect the rail networks up as well. Because they'll only be going out and, you know, to and from one kind of sided network. But if we can get this one hooked up, it will do the trick. It will do the magic. And we have 4 possible outlets to the 1 set of stations. Right, let's try this. So if I kind of do that there and that there. Okay, it didn't quite work out to what I wanted it to do. But there we go, glorious. So just simply make it go underground. And that's all I'm worried about at the minute. Making it go underground. All the way over to, where are we? Over to here. Right, to bring it from out of the ground. And it connect there. And that can connect there. We'll see how that goes then. So that was just for the sake of having another set of connections set up. So, getting back into play. How is the tourism? 453 weekly tourists. Okay, that's like a big leap then. So, technically, guys, we're at 10% of the population in tourists. 10% of the population. That's interesting. That's fairly interesting. We'll see how it goes. It's actually gone up a little bit more now. So we're out over 10%. 511 tourists. Glorious. It reminds me of like a Las Vegas strip where they built a big road in the middle, built a bunch of like tourism hotspots around it, and there's no character to the city. That's kind of what this slightly reminds me of. It really, really does. Okay. So how many tourists is this bringing? It's actually still bringing quite a few. Still seeing a few come up. What's our public transport network saying? Where is it? There we go. So we're getting a fair few people using planes. I'm looking at the tourist side. Using the metro system. A lot of people using the metro system, which is obviously inevitable because it's so well connected. It's pretty good. Oh, we forgot to connect as well. Just realizing right now. I'm going to get rid of this view. All this over here. I forgot to connect it via a road. So just have it kind of run fairly close. It needs power as well. So now got power. Oh, they need a bit of water. Right, some of them are complaining about not being close to the road. You couldn't be any more close to the road if I tried. There we go. So they're in as well, so they can be used as tourist hotspots too. They didn't like the fact they placed that in, did they? Right. Get rid of traffic lights anyway. Change the junction restrictions. There we go. Allow them to free flow. Okay then, so where are we at now then? Let's take a little look over here. Again, we need more workers, but I can't do anything until I've got a big bulk of tourists. We need up to 700 tourists. Wow. So if 10% was 440, 20% will be 880. And we're getting almost to 20%, which is really good. And this is all without the help of the space elevator. So I think it's time we drop that down. The space elevator. And I think I'll pull it over here. Right, we'll pull it just here. So they can walk straight into the airport. Straight into the airport, and they'll jump on the metro. Unless they want to walk. They'll probably just choose to, end up walking, but, they're crossing the road. So that will bring a lot of peeps in next. A lot of tourism next, which is interesting. What are the other monuments again, by the way? We got the medical center. We have the Eden Project, which glasshouse increases the city's profile. Oh, yes. This is another big one I need in as well. Increase the city's profile. Make the land value go sky high. So it's now gone up to 89% attractiveness. Guys, we're nearly at 20% tourists compared to our residents, which is good. And that's going to keep rising too. What are the other monuments we had? The medical one, make all people educated, and the almost. We're just going to drop these in anyway, just because, well, for the sake of the city. And there was this one as well. There's the education one. Is it this one? No, or is it this one? Where is it? Hadron Collider. Yes, but we need a posh mall to add that in. And to get in a posh mall is this one, right? Yeah. We need tax rates at most 4%. Now we'll give everyone universal education, but I don't know if I need the education, to be honest. Now we'll keep it as it is. Right. Oh, needs a bit of water. There we go. It's got all the water. So many tourists are coming out of that building as well, which is what I like to see. The only downside is our population is also growing. So we're up to 1,000 tourists, which is officially over the 20% barrier. So we've got another 80% to go. And Siri is now talking to me. Go away. Nobody asked you any questions. But we're now way over the 20% barrier. Another 80, well, less than 80% to go. I don't know if it's going to be possible. But if you look at the sheer amount of tourists coming outside of the space elevator at the moment, anything could be possible. Anything could be possible. But as this continues to happen, my population is also growing. I mean, worst case scenario, I could just kind of slightly reduce our population, but that's kind of cheating, isn't it? That's like, last resort. But we'll see how things tick along. See how things tick along right now. There is a lot of people walking the street. We're ticking along nicely, and believe it or not, we're kind of at now the halfway mark. I think we're technically... Yeah, we're now technically over the halfway mark. We got 5,500 residents, 2,200 weekly tourists. So we're officially at the halfway mark, which is feeling good. Still got a long way to go. We're still fighting the ever-increasing population right now. But I've thought of other ways in which we can improve stuff as well. So if we go to transport, we also have the ability to add in tours. So we could do some basic stuff like adding in some hot air balloon tours, which would be really beneficial for us. If I drop in one there, we'll kind of like dot them around in various spots. One over there. Can I do one here? Yeah, one there. Squeezing one there. So the more tours, the better, because we can, get the good monies, boys. Get the good monies. Squeezing one there and one there as well. Obviously, the radius that it's in is what it gets to view. And the better the view, boys, the better the view, the more they will use them. So quite a few hot air balloons now going to be circling around in their little radiuses, which is pretty good. We're now we're so close to 3,000 tourists. Oh my goodness me. It's cool. We also have the ability to do the Sightseeing Bus Tour, which will be another good one to throw in. So if I drop, we'll drop 2 down so we get like multiple buses, and let's do which is the walking route. That's the walking one, yeah. And we'll do like little hotspots now. So we'll do like one there, one there. We'll just like stop it every so often. It's cool little hotspots. We're basically pretty much going to do a loop around. Try and maximize the tour. And then go underneath. There we go. A nice little loop around, which the buses will come out, have some fun, and we can do some walking tours as well. The walking tours are a little bit different. So if I do it like this, like do one there, which is actually inside the park, believe it or not. So I don't know if they pay double. I don't know how that works. But if I kind of like bring them down here, and cross the road, and then come back up. In they go. Not quite sure how that works, but I've got a walking tour there. We'll do one here as well. There. How can I get it up to there? And then walk back? Like that. Just drop 2 tours down. I just want to see what happens. There's actually getting tourists as well, believe it or not. Hot air balloons. That's a riding stable. There's another hot air balloon there. So they're actually getting tourists, which is pretty good. And we're over the 3,000 mark as well. I can't work out percentages at this point. I really can't. But yeah. So let's say 50% is 2,750. Let's, give or take a few peeps. We're well over 50%, and we're still increasing. We're slowly getting there, so hopefully this new stuff can, do good things for us. In terms of the tours right now, does nobody want to use the bus tours? If I view this line, there's a few people waiting in various spots, but we'll see how it goes. Still got a lot of work to do. I've noticed one thing as well. It's killed the little town. All the industry and commercial. Oh, the hot air balloons are going quite far, aren't they? Okay, maybe they don't go in that radius. They are actually traveling quite far. Wow. Okay. Okay, where are they going? The wind has taken them, guys. There is no getting back on it right now. But yeah, all the jobs just seem to have disappeared, which is interesting, to say the least. But again, still grinding. So we went for a slight death wave, which kind of dipped our population under 5,000. But I've got it back on track. The city is coming along. Well, I keep wanting. It's more of a town, isn't it? It's more of a town. Got it back on track anyway. I don't. Oh, actually, no. I don't think it's actually recover back up to 5,000, which is a shame. But I've been building upon kind of tourism a little bit more. The only thing I haven't dabbled with is policies to make stuff a little bit better. So if I do the whole city as a whole, we could do stuff like parks and recreation, give those a nice little boost. Education boost, prioritize education over working. I won't do that. Recreation use, that was also a good one. I could do free public transport, so people travel free, and you know that might boost a little bit of tourism as well. Anything else? High ticket prices. Let's just get more profit off tourists. I don't really want to do that. Tourism in the area, choose the yeah, we'll go for that. Park maintenance boost. Right, it's all good. City planning. Anything that could benefit us here. Boost connections. Increase boats and planes. Oh, it could bring more visitors to the area. That would be pretty cool as well. Right, we'll get that. Don't want to do any taxation. We'll go for let go for leisure. Stop generating tax income, but hefty boost for their entertainment attractive values. Yes, please. Yes, please. So with all that thrown in then, extra stuff added to the agenda. We're up to 4,100 weekly tourists. We are less than 800 away from having more tourists in the city than residents. I mean, it's kind of helped us a lot that the population's dropped, but it looks like the population's growing back again. City of attractiveness is 90%. So we'll see what happens now with all the additional stuff we've thrown in. Let's take a look at the tourism anyway, the tourism side of it. So this is all the tourism stuff being placed down. Oh, we kind of have a little glitch in the system there. All the tourism stuff being placed down. Weekly tourists, 4,100 and so on. Attractiveness, it's all very attractive. It's all pretty good. It's all nice and purple as well. If I zoom in a little bit, we can kind of see the tourists. So tourists versus exchange students, because obviously we don't have any exchange students because we don't have any university stuff in. But you can see how that's now playing out. It's all pretty much tourists. Well, it's actually dropping a bit as well. I've just noticed that. It's gone down to 4,000. I hope we're not plateauing out where this is the maximum that we're going to get out of this. Because that would be a kind of a shame, wouldn't it? This is the tours that we got going on. Not really enjoying them, to be honest, are they? I mean, residents anyway. Tourists, yes. Tourists are using it. They're actually using the hot air balloon rides quite a bit too, which is pretty cool to see. Park maintenance, it really doesn't really mean anything to us. So, yeah, it is what it is. Leisure stuff, there is a way to see land value. This is the land value one. It's all green everywhere because I've got the monument it allows us to do us. We could have like the Hydrogen Collider just to get like the big. Might just get all the power in as well. Just go for broke. Where are we up to now then with weekly tour? It's actually dipped down below 4,000. So I'm having a feeling, guys, that we're not going to get it any higher than what it is right now. I feel like we could be struggling at this point. It is getting a little bit more difficult, isn't it? The amount of peeps coming in, as you can see them all right now, they're still flooding in, but it's just not enough to keep us going, to increase the weekly visitors. Even though it slightly went up again there. We're now less than 1,000 away from it. Less than 1,000 away. So I could do... The last stretch I'm going to do right now is stuff like with transport, taxis. Because this is always good. Drop a load of taxi stuff in. So if I just drop a load there, let me just give them water as well. So this is good for the tourism side. We get a load of taxi, what are they called again? Taxi what depots? Yeah. And then we'll eventually place the other ones. around soon. The little stands that they can wait, people can wait at, and you know, hail cabs and whatnot, and where they kind of chill out when they're not when they're on their breaks and whatnot. So get a bunch of taxis driving around the city, and then it's like in little random spots here and there. We'll put down the little taxi ranks so they can hail cabs and stuff like that. Yeah, just little things like this can really boost the tourism side, and hopefully reduce. I might say reduce the amount of cars on the road, but then again, it kind of it puts more cars on the road, doesn't it? Right, we'll go with that then, and just kind of see how it plays out. There's a lot of traffic, I've noticed. There is a lot of traffic coming in and out of the city right now, which is kind of crazy. So just for the sake of it, I might just create little outlets here and there so they can skedaddle and get out of here. I don't know how much it will get used. Don't know at all. Only time will tell. But where does that put our tourists at now then? So we're back over the 4,000 mark, but unfortunately our population is back over the 5,000 mark. So it's really a struggle at this point. It's really a struggle. I've been simulating this for quite a while. As you could tell, we're on the year 2025. It's been simulating for quite some time, and I just can't get it higher. I don't want to feel like we're plateauing, but I feel like we're plateauing. Look at how people visiting this one. Yeah, that's crazy. But that's how I feel, guys. We're slightly plateauing, aren't we? And the traffic is chaotic around this section. It really is. It's chaotic everywhere, to be honest. Are they using those little outlet roads? Kind of. Kind of. See if I could take advantage of like more traffic. If I brought this up, make it go underground to here, and then brought it back up. I wonder if we can create a connection with that, and then do something similar here. Right, where can I take it that will make it go underground? It's a terrible connection. Are you for real? Are you? In what world did I want the road to do that? In what freaking world did I want the road to do that? I have no idea. It's created one of the most glorious ramps ever seen to man. But let's just do something. Let's just do what I wanted to. Oh, what have I done? There we go. So create these little on and off ramps. It's nothing glorious. It's just to enable the traffic to flow a bit easier. It might get more tourists in because there's not being backlogs here, there, and everywhere. But with another connection in and out of the city, we'll see how this flies. There is a lot of... pretty much the traffic is because of this here. The amount of people going there. And they all want to turn as well. So I could upgrade the road. That's always a good shout. There you go. That's always a good shout. Turn traffic lights off. There anyway. And wait, where's the road go here? Wait, we've got a weird one there, haven't we? There we go. And then make sure it can turn. Again, turn off the traffic light. Oh no, there's no traffic lights there. Turn off the ability to back it up. And then the rest is glorious. So people will use that. Again, it won't benefit to it for us too much, no. But I can't get the tourists above 4,000. And I've got everything I can throw at the city at the moment. Policies, buildings, everything I'm throwing at it. And I just can't seem to increase it anymore. So I don't particularly think it's possible to get more tourists than residents. And you got to remember, I'm doing this on such a small scale of residents, 5,000 residents. So if I had like 100,000 residents, no, we just couldn't do it, could we? We could not do it. So it is, I'm going to say, it's not impossible. I'm not going to say it's impossible, because I could get rid of some of the residential areas over here, and then I'll have more population than residents. I mean, I have more residents and tourists than residents. I'm getting confused. So yeah, but obviously, at what cost does it then become dipping down my residents? Because then the city doesn't become functional for the tourists. So it's all swings and roundabouts. You can't really compete to a certain degree, really, can you? You really can't. But yeah, there we go. I mean, we didn't hear it, guys. It's possible, but it's not possible. But there we go. Hope you did enjoy this experiment. If you did, smash that like button down below. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. So, goodbye.